About a decade ago, if you'd have mentioned massive single-player open-world action RPG, you'd be met with either confusion or, oh, you mean the new Elder Scrolls game coming out? Boy, that sure isn't the case now. What with the likes of Skyrim, Grand Theft Auto 5, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon's Dogma, and of course, critical darling The Witcher 3, it's becoming harder and harder to really stand out in the genre, especially with a new IP. So it's even more impressive then that a small but talented and experienced developer named Piranha Bytes, made up of fewer people than Gabe Newell's yacht cleaning crew, are putting the finishing touches on what may be the most important open-world action RPG ever made. Tall words, eh? Well, keep watching. Okay, so for a crash course in 101 game design, let's distinguish between a scripted NPC or event and a simulated AI-driven NPC or event. Games like No Man's Sky rely almost exclusively on simulated worlds full of simulated AI, wherein the various artificial intelligences react to each other in certain ways based on a set of parameters given to them by the developer. In theory, this should create an infinite, inexhaustible amount of fun. Unfortunately, due to the overambition of its lead developer and lack of experience in creating gigantic, procedurally generated open worlds, the results were less than spectacular. On the flip side, you have scripted events, which are basically the bread and butter of almost every cinematic game, especially shooters, on the planet. And that's just fine. They're meant to be story-driven interactive movies with fun combat, and they get the job done. However, especially in recent years, tight scripting has been used quite heavily in open-world RPGs, most notably The Witcher 3, where virtually every single NPC or event is meticulously scripted. For example, at the beginning of the game, Geralt can hex an arsonist and force him to reveal himself to his dwarven victim. While in the game, Geralt says, "Follow me," in truth, the developer has simply scripted the arsonist to walk from one area in the game world to the other. Geralt can bolt away, shivving up and down a thatched roof, engage in a 15-minute cutscene with Uncle Vess, or meditate for even 15 days. The arsonist will always walk that same path and wait for Geralt to trigger the cutscene by walking next to him. Unfortunately, this fairly minor issue is symptomatic of the rest of the game. The world simply isn't alive in The Witcher 3 because everything is scripted, and when you try to break free of that script, say by luring a bunch of bandits to a Nilfgaardian installation to watch the carnage ensue, the game slaps your wrist by forcing all enemies to be tied to invisible ropes where they will be trapped forever. And why? Why would one of the hardest working video game developers today force such tight scripts on their games? Because creating a full-fledged NPC pathfinding system in an open world full of rocks, trees, vast bodies of water, giant cities, and caves is a monumentally difficult task, and prone to more technical issues than a warehouse worth of popular science. 3 recent giant games that come to mind that relied very minimally on scripting, and much more on AI, are Fallout New Vegas, the Stalker series, and Gothic 3. 3 utterly fantastic games. Every single one of them nearly unplayable at release. So what makes me confident that ELEX won't succumb to the same fate? Because every game made by Piranha Bytes after Gothic 3 has improved its open-world functionality with each new iteration. While their in-house Genome engine, that's the engine they built for Gothic 3 and have used on all their games since, including ELEX, may be showing its age visually, it's actually one of the most stable, powerful, and living open-world RPG engines today, allowing for countless variations and unscripted interactions that you just will not find in any other game. See how simply walking into someone else's house in their 2009 game Risen draws ire from its owner? Or how factional conditions can create unscripted battles? Or how thieving or murdering receives immediate reprisal based specifically on who saw you? Or how NPCs can stake out their own path anywhere in the open world and deal with any enemies along the way? And that's just a fraction of what their witch's brew of scripted and unscripted interactions provides to the player. These may just be minor things by themselves, but added together they become something truly unique. So for ELEX, they're taking all of those minute and intricate details in their AI systems that they've perfected in their smaller games, and are bringing them to a giant open world large enough to rival any of their contemporaries. And that's just one of the reasons why you should be excited. Now, having minimally scripted NPCs in an open world by itself isn't much to write home about, and probably wouldn't even be noteworthy if the game's list of achievements ended there. Thankfully, there is a whole heck of a lot more to get excited about, which I'll go into detail on in my next video.